An AEW star quits on air. More potential Royal Rumble surprises. And it's time for New Japan's annual crisis where everyone could leave. Stop having all your contracts expire at the same time every year. I'm Oli Davis, and this is the WrestleTalk News.
Support WrestleTalk!
All In 2023 wasn't just a milestone for AEW's growth, it was a milestone in wrestling history, a huge indicator that we're living through a genuine pro wrestling boom period. The secondary company set a new paid attendance record for the whole business. But like many of AEW's crowning achievements over the last year and a half, it was immediately undermined by backstage shenanigans. Following a previously reported backstage confrontation between Jungle Boy Jack Perry and CM Punk at an episode of Collision, where Punk stopped Perry from using real glass in a weapons spot because that's a needless risk, so far, so sensible, Perry used the limo's windscreen glass in his All In match, looking directly into the camera and saying, "You know what this is right here? Real glass. Go cry me a river." Punk reportedly responded to this, being very safety conscious and wanting to create a protective behind-the-scenes atmosphere, by getting in an actual fight with Perry as soon as he got backstage. Punk was punished by being swiftly fired with cause by AEW, where he would show up in WWE several months later, become one of the most popular people in wrestling again, likely set up to win the Royal Rumble, main event of WrestleMania in the next couple of years, and make loads of money. Let that be a lesson to you kids. Your actions have consequences. But while Punk showed up on Survivor Series, and then Raw, and then SmackDown, Jungle Boy has been nowhere to be seen. Following his backstage altercation with Punk in August, Perry was suspended indefinitely by AEW. There was speculation he could be making his return as the devil that was tormenting MJF, but that was revealed to be Adam Cole at December 30th's World's End. In the 5 months since, there's been no update on Perry's actual AEW status. So he's just shown up in another wrestling promotion instead. Making his first appearance in the 139 days since All In, Perry jumped the rail after the opening match at New Japan's Battle of the Valley show on the 13th of January, attacking Shota Umino. He then got into the ring, produced his AEW contract from his pocket, and tore it in two. He treats his paper even worse than he treats his glass. He then put on an armband with "The Scapegoat" written on it, a likely reference to Perry being used as the scapegoat for CM Punk. A reference that falls apart though when you remember Punk got fired for it, he was his own goat. New Japan World's X account posted the clip only referring to Perry as the scapegoat, implying this could be Jungle Boy's new name in that promotion. But what does this mean for him in AEW? F4W Online writes that Perry's current AEW status is unknown, and that he filed for several trademarks in December, including Jungle Boy, Jurassic Express, and A Boy and His Dinosaur, the latter two being names he used for his tag team with Luchasaurus. I mean Kill Switch! Don't hurt me, Daddy! Typically, filing for trademarks is a precursor to wrestlers trying to leave the promotions they're contracted to before they go out to make it on their own in other companies with their own intellectual property. So that's it! Jungle Boy has quit AEW, or maybe they just ended up firing him. Whatever happened, all we know is that Jack Perry is no longer All Elite. But just one more thing. Perry didn't return at a AAA show or an NXT event. He did this in New Japan, whom AEW has a strong working relationship, with Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston both wrestling on this same show. New Japan would not allow a wrestler to disrespect such a valued partner unless it was pre-approved. Them letting Perry tear up his AEW contract on air heavily implies this is all a big worky McWork face. That doesn't necessarily mean Perry will show up on AEW anytime soon though. Perhaps Tony Khan is hoping New Japan can be a kind of gimmick rehab for Jungle Boy, where he can win back fans he might have alienated back in August, building support so when he does return to AEW, he's the most over he can possibly be. How would you book Jack Perry's AEW return? Tell me by being an overly loving best brother to Nick Wayne with Christian as his dad in the comments down below, where I'll be replying to people from out of nowhere. Bet New Japan watched all this and thought, geez, I'm glad we don't have any talent contract issues in our promotion. God, that'd be bad. Oh no, wait, they have all the talent contract issues in their promotion. Before I get into that though, here's a short clip of our brand new 3-count episode predicting every WWE star's Royal Rumble in 3 words or less, fewer, or in Luke's case, sometimes 4 words. Big E saves. This is Big E's return spot. He comes out as the surprise entrant. Kofi has found himself on the barricade in one of his death-defying escapes. Big E picks him up, walks him over to the ring, gets in the ring. Embrace. Please.
Which is why, I like that. And that would classify with mine. Best elimination spot yet.
No.
So,
no.
Elimination spot there is obviously hyphenated, and I put it in I put it in quotation marks, Pete, because then it becomes that's a single defining thing. I thought Pete might have some issues with this, so I wanted to clarify my point here.
You can just take out the word "yet" and it'll be fine.
This is outrageous.
Elimination spot. Fine, that's an entry.
New Japan talent contracts mostly seem to run from January to January. A smart idea to optimize HR procedures. You can roll out all the new documentation in one fell swoop, and you don't have to worry about doing it again for another year. The problem is, that means everyone's contracts come due at the same time. Top star Will Ospreay has already announced he's signed with AEW, where he's set to start once his New Japan dates have finished. Longtime OG Bullet Club member Tama Tonga said January will be his last month in New Japan, immediately following him winning the Never Openweight Championship at Wrestle Kingdom on January 4th. Fightful Select is reporting practically all of the Bullet Club War Dogs faction have either had their contracts expired already or are expiring by the end of this month, with Clark Connors, Alex Coughlin, Gabriel Kidd and Trilla Maloney having their deals up in January. And the biggest of all, the ace of New Japan himself, Kazuchika Okada, is set to become a free agent at the end of the month, where there is reportedly significant interest in him from WWE. In a new development, Okada has also done a Jungle Boy, filing to trademark his Rainmaker nickname, a sign he could be looking at a career outside of New Japan. The Wrestling Observer newsletter is reporting that Tonga, along with several other foreigners, are looking to leave New Japan when their contracts expire in January, and that it is going to be harder and harder for New Japan to keep top foreign talent because of the huge discrepancy in pay between New Japan with WWE and AEW. New Japan is entering a new phase, with Hiroshi Tanahashi taking over as the promotion's president. One of the first things he's got to do is start spreading out these contract expiration dates over the course of the year, as having them all come due in the same month not only means New Japan is at sudden risk of losing half their main event scene, like we already saw back in 2016 when WWE signed AJ Styles, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows and Shinsuke Nakamura, and when AEW formed in 2019, taking with them Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks and more, but it means they'll end up having to spend way more money to keep any talent, as their negotiating position will be severely hampered by everyone knowing what a mess they're in. All in the same month, when WWE have the most famous "Let's have some new signings" show. All of New Japan to Royal Rumble confirmed. The Wrestling Observer is reporting that both Sheamus and Xavier Woods are expected back over the next few weeks after being out injured, and PW Insider writes Sonya Deville has been training at the Performance Center recently to get ready for a return. Sheamus, Woods and Sonya Deville Royal Rumble return confirmed. There's also the news that Trinity, the former Naomi in WWE, has dropped her Knockouts Championship to Jordynne Grace at TNA's Hard to Kill, fueling rumours she'll also be returning for the Royal Rumble. But what's Lee Bay doing in the Impact Zone? Sitting in the balcony for Trinity versus Grace was Retribution, the Retribution members being Mercedes Moné and Bayley, cheering on their friend Trinity. Mercedes wasn't the only former WWE talent, or is she? Banks' Royal Rumble return confirmed at the newly relaunched TNA though. The event saw the debut of Dana Brooke, now going by the perfume brand style name Ash by Elegance, and the former Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth, hot off making his New Japan debut at Wrestle Kingdom. It's pretty cold out there this week, folks. You might say, Stone Cold! Stone Cold! Stone Cold! So here's a clip from Stone Cold Steve Austin's Instagram of him trying out his new cold plunge pool to warm you up.
5, 4, 3, 2, there we go. God damn. Ha ha. Ha, son of a bitch. Ha. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Oh, mother.
I actually got a cold plunge for Christmas because I'm a health fad nut, and so far, I've done it every day this year. There's a photo of me in absolute shock. I'm entering shock in that photo. But despite all that cold, you'll be pleased to know my penis is still... I don't know where it's gone. I don't know where it is. I've not seen it in weeks. Now go watch Luke and I predict every WWE main roster star's Royal Rumble in 3 words or less / fewer. From out... I fell over.